Good to have you this morning.
I'm good.
Oh.
How was Super Bowl for everybody?
What a game.
Great and crazy.
Better than Kyle Shanahan's way.
Yeah, we had a great time in Miami.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan may be having a tough morning. When you think of that game and Kyle Shanahan, did he blow another Super Bowl?
I think he did. I think this is 100% on Kyle Shanahan because we praise him when the team plays well. We praised him last year when Jimmy G went down and all the quarterbacks came in and played well. We praised him when they beat the brakes off the Green Bay Packers this year twice to get to this point. And so he must hold this L because this is on him. And, I mean, you up 2 scores in the fourth quarter, and you get an interception.
And you got the ball.
And you find a way to lose the game. You know what I mean? So I believe that football can be very stressful already. Just in itself, it's a very stressful, can be a very difficult game. But there are few times where you will find yourself on the biggest stage in the most high-pressured situation, and the game plan will never be more simple. Run the football to win the game. They average 6.4 yards in the game running the ball, right? So that to me, that's saying a lot, right? The Chiefs were not doing a great job at stopping the run and slowing down this run. And Shanahan knows better because this is the DNA of the 49ers, right? It's run, play action, and defense. And I would even go a step further and say this is the culture and DNA that he was raised in.
It was.
Because all those teams I watched when you guys were playing with the Denver Broncos, the offensive alignment, it was zone left, zone right. They were cut blocking all the D linemen. TD was putting his foot in the ground and getting up the field.
Yep.
That's the DNA of this football team, and I believe that he outthought himself. Sorry.
I like
outthunk. I wasn't sure if that was a word, but I believe that he outthought himself in that fourth quarter because that's really what it came down to. To me, that's where the game was lost because they lost steam. And again, when you get a turnover in the fourth quarter, and the probability of winning has to be 99%, and somehow they found a way to lose this game. So I put this one on Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, he has to take accountability on this one, Skip. You're up 20-0. You get an interception.
20
to 10.
Yeah.
You get an interception to start the fourth quarter. And your next 2 drives, 5 of the plays are pass plays. That's not who you are. Skip, we went through this. Remember the second half? They were up 28-3 over the Patriots, and the team that's down by 25 runs the football the same amount of time as the team that's up by 25. Where they do that at? In a situation like this, Skip, I'm not saying you're not trying to run out the clock. It's what you do best.
Yeah, exactly.
If I can see, Skip, if you're a throwing team, and maybe like you said, okay, you want to give Kyle because Matt Ryan had won the MVP. You had Julio, Taylor Gabriel. Yeah. You were throwing the ball all over the yard. Okay, I get that.
That's different.
I do get that. And I told you, I defended him. I know it was awful, 28-3,
Right.
but still, he had just been named the night before the MVP of the league.
And you can say, well, running the football is really not what we do. That's really not who we are. But in this situation, this is who you are. This is what you are. And now you go, all of a sudden, you 5 of the 8 plays, you throw the ball? What? You will never. It's hard to get an opportunity, Skip, to get, like Reggie said, you get to the Super Bowl, it's very hard. You got to navigate some landmines. Because think about the Chiefs, they had to deal with the injury to Mahomes. So there ain't no assurances that you're going to get there. You get there. Man, if we can just get a lead, we get to the fourth quarter. You get to the fourth quarter. You're the second best running team in football. You're up by 2 scores. And you say, you know what we're going to do now? We're going to show y'all why we're Jimmy G. Remember how we've been defending him all year long? We're going to show you why we're defending him. Now, granted, I'm a firm, look, Patrick Mahomes had to be great in the fourth quarter, and he was once that interception took place. But the mark of any great team, whether you're offensively or defensively based, can you get done what you need to get done? And the 49ers, and we gave them credit all year long, Skip, about that pass rush, but when they needed to get off the field on third down, they couldn't. When they needed to get a stop, they couldn't. Patrick Mahomes, okay, Shannon Sharpe said, you're historically great already. He says, okay, let me show you. Boom, 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 game, set, match. But Kyle got to wear this hat. He got to wear, he could wear a lot of hats, Skip. We, like Reggie said, we gave a lot of credit from 4-12 to all of a sudden in the Super Bowl. You see what happened? The 49ers were going nowhere. He and John Lynch turned this around. Okay, you turned it around. I'm going to give you credit for turning it around. But I'm going to give this blame to you for taking this L.
So you watched Kyle Shanahan grow up.
I did,
right?
Since he was 10.
10 years old.
Yeah.
And I don't know him. You know him some. You know his father a lot.
I do.
Seems like a really good guy, Kyle Shanahan. He's great with the media. Great last week. He seems always forthcoming, and open, and accessible. But unfortunately, this is the biggest game on earth, so to speak. This is the Super Bowl, and you got to play in one, and you got to play in three. In North America, I got it. And you're lucky if you ever get to one. Kyle has gotten to 2, and his legacy now is he has blown 2 insurmountable Super Bowl leads.
Well, we thought they were insurmountable.
Well, they sure look like what, right?
Considering the way they were playing until they got the lead.
So I fought for Kyle when we did this discussion 2 weeks ago about the Atlanta loss, 28-3 up, because you dance with who brung you. You dance with Matt. He's the MVP. You got Julio and Sanu and Taylor. You got all these weapons, and that's who you are. And if Matt Ryan had not taken a dumb sack, because that's dumb.
Yes, he knows better.
And then they had an unfortunate holding call that knocked them out of field goal range and forced them to punt the ball back to Brady, and that's when the ceiling fell in. But the point was, that's not so bad. I'm not going to condemn you for that one, but I am condemning you for last night because you had run for 109 yards through 3 quarters. Patrick Mahomes was unraveling right before your very eyes. And I know how much you love him, but that was god-awful what was happening.
That was one of his worst games.
He had, for 3 quarters, he looked very average, very pedestrian.
Well, then he went abysmal in the 3rd quarter. Mid-30, throws the first interception because they're struggling. They're playing a really good defense with a hellacious pass rush. And he's having to look through it and fight through it because you got 2 6'8" guys coming. And you got Nick Bosa coming. You got people coming. D Ford's flying. And it's starting to get to him psychologically, and he's starting to try to force the issue, and you can't force it. So he forces the first throw mid-3rd quarter, and Fred Warner cuts underneath and picks it off, and it was just a bad idea.
Bad throw, yes.
It was just a bad throw. And then early in the 4th quarter, I'm pretty sure he tries a no-look pass to Tyreek, and he throws it behind him, and he tips it up into an interception. And that's when I thought,
I thought the game was over.
That's it, man.
Yeah, I thought that was it.
Ball game, right?
Ball game.
So all of a sudden, you're 1st and 10 at your 20, and if we could hear the great Troy Aikman on Fox, because he spoke right to my heart.
He said it. He called it.
Right on schedule.
So even he was saying, run the football.
Run the football. And I'm thinking game over, and that throw was a little low, and Kittle had to go scoop it up. And here we went again with another throw, and then another throw. And Mostert touches the ball 4 times in the 4th quarter, and Deebo Samuel, who has turned into a monster of a runner.
Beast.
A beast. He's the new beast mode of receivers. Am I right?
Yeah, he is.
My goodness. And you got to get the football in his hands in the 4th quarter. He doesn't touch the ball in the 4th quarter. So all of a sudden, you have decided, right on cue with Troy's commentary, oh, you're going to put the ball in Jimmy G's hand, Jimmy Interception's hand? What happened in the first half? It was a close game only because Jimmy threw a dying quail of an interception. Right?
Yeah.
What was that? And Jimmy G had been off all night. Every throw he'd made except one to Kittle that was offensive pass interference. That was a sweet throw.
Right.
Every other throw was a little over here, a little over there. As Shannon and I talked about, he's pressing. It's the Super Bowl. He's getting a little too fine. He's trying to guide it in. And the ball's starting to flutter and duck on him a little bit. And now you've got it 1st and 10 at your 20, and you can run the clock because the 49ers, I mean, the Chiefs have been very good at controlling the clock, shockingly to me, because they had ball control most of the game. Well, now it's your turn. You had 285 rushing yards against the Packers, and Jimmy G threw it 2 times in the second half. Did it not work?
Yes. Yeah. What drove you crazy, Skip? You said the Tennessee Titans got a lead. And then all of a sudden, you want to see if Ryan Tannehill can go head-to-head with Patrick Mahomes. Okay, you got to lead 20-10. And now you want to see if Jimmy G can go head-to-head with Mahomes, boy?
Okay.
Really?
Really?
Skip, look here. If you're going to say I got conservative, I can come back and tell you, say, this is our offense. This is what we do. We run the football from a lot of different formations, a lot of different sets, but we run the football. Now, I'm looking at the stats right here, and Mahomes throwing the ball 13 more times than they ran it. Nobody's shocked by that.
No.
But to look at this and to say Jimmy G threw the ball 9 more times than they ran it?
He threw it 31 times.
Come on.
What are you doing?
No, that's not who you are.
So, my man, yesterday we had a show on Fox at 11 Eastern, and I am convinced, because he picked Jimmy G to be the MVP last night, I'm convinced that Kyle Shanahan was watching in his hotel room and said, you know what? That's a good idea. I like it. Watch this. Because that would polish your genius if you could turn Jimmy G into the MVP, right?
Debo Samuel was going to be the MVP.
I know.
Had they kept, if they could have kept this going, because Debo was playing unbelievable.
Yeah.
Hey, he really was. A force.
He showed up.
Them jet sweeps, they get to swinging the ball to him, but then all of a sudden, added a little something to the recipe, the dish that didn't need to be there, and now all of a sudden you got to throw the whole dish out.
This one's gonna hurt 49er fans.
Can you imagine,
Coach
Skip,
Shanahan?
You get to the Super, okay, we lose one, like, okay, we lost it like this. Can you? I guarantee you that would be what Kyle did would be the equivalent if the Seahawks got back to the Super Bowl again, and on the 1 yard line they threw another pass.
Oh, I hadn't thought about it that way.
You like, man, you don't get up out of here.
Wow. Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.